Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also let's not forget about their new Star Wars TV shows and new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works by Disney, Lucasfilm, John, George, and Dave, and especially Bob Chapek, even allowing all of this to even happen in the first place, to really move things forward for the new Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining updates for you guys once in a while and make sure to really interact with you guys further. So what's really all the more exciting has everything to do with the fact of what's been going on between Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there with series like The Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka Tano series, and more to come in 2022 to 23, which, by the way, are going to be by far the most important years by, of course, Disney for Star Wars as a whole, because essentially what they have to do for those 2 whole years is that they really have to show the fans and deliver great content that's going to be successful in a very consistent way. They can't have failures in between, on and off. They really have to make sure that they are on their A game and that they can actually establish all of these new Star Wars TV shows that are really going to reach out to the fans, and that's going to be a very successful and satisfying Star Wars set of TV shows. So with that being said, of course, what's really all the more intriguing has everything to do with actress Gina Carano. Now, we all know that she was fired back in February of this year in a very improper way by Kathleen Kennedy, mind you. There was a lot of things that went on behind the scenes, and a lot of fans canceled their Disney Plus subscriptions over that. I mean, it was a mess. So here we are, it is the very end of 2021 now, and we're getting closer to the Book of Boba Fett release, which, by the way, is going to be the very beginning of how Disney is going to be paying more respect to the Star Wars universe from this point on forward. However, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are busy developing their new Star Wars projects like Star Wars Ahsoka and even The Mandalorian Season 3, both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are also very hard at work on new unannounced shows that will be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration of 2022. However, ever since actress Gina Carano got fired back in February, the fans have wanted to see the return of Cara Dune. However, in a recent interview with Gina Carano, she went on to talk about her experience on the set of The Mandalorian, especially when Kathleen Kennedy held more creative power in the beginning over some of the core characters. Gina Carano went on to state that every time I was working on set and doing my thing, getting ready to film and going over my lines, those who supported me over at Lucasfilm would always tell me that some within the company absolutely hated the fact that Jon Favreau was paying so much attention to my character and even allowing me to do what I wanted to do with some of the stunts. Those who were friendly with me would often tell me that there were those over at Lucasfilm that were spreading rumors about me and how I got this gig on the Mandalorian series. I will never forget that one time when I was finishing up a scene with Jon Favreau and heading into my trailer. I got a text message from someone who I was close with that there were, of course, those at Lucasfilm talking to Kathleen Kennedy behind my back about myself telling Jon Favreau to do my stunts a certain way. Now, let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, we already know that a lot of Lucasfilm employees, give it designers or concept artists, really had a beef with Gina Carano for some reasons unknown. We really don't know exactly why they had such issues with her from the very beginning. Even some actors out there, like Freddie Prinze Jr. I don't know if you guys saw what went on Twitter, but he was actually laughing over the fact that she was fired. He found it very, very funny, and it just goes to show you how unprofessional Lucasfilm can be. Not just the people that are actually higher, above the actors and the concept artists and designers, but it also dwindles down to some of the actors too. This is a company that has people associated with them that go on Twitter and laugh about things that are very unprofessional and that needs to be really addressed. It really does. There's got to be some kind of cleaning up to do over at Lucasfilm to really kind of stabilize that company to act more professional. In my book, that's what needs to be done. So moving on from this is when Kathleen Kennedy stepped in and actually wanted a stunt double, Gina says, to do some of the work for me that I found as so easy to pull off. I was insulted and offended, actually, as if Miss Kennedy didn't want me to be the powerful woman I wanted to be on set. I'm a fighter at heart, that's what I did, and that's what I love to do. I train all the time, and The Mandalorian gave me this fun opportunity to use that skill, and Miss Kennedy was trying to take that away from me based on Lucasfilm employees complaining about me being demanding to Mr. Favreau about my stunts when in reality, Favreau supported my vision of not needing a stunt double in so many scenes. So let me just stop right here for once again. Now, obviously, Gina Carano knows how to do her own stunts. She is indeed a fighter. And as she said, that she's a fighter at heart. Kathleen Kennedy wanted to take that soul away from her. Basically, she did not want her to do her own stunts. She didn't want her to do her own fight sequences, in a sense, for Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 at some points in time. And it really goes to show you that when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy wanting a strong female character and/or actress, it seems like she comes off as a hypocrite now, doesn't it? Because you would think that she would want the absolute opposite. You would think that she would want to have her do her own stunts, and given that she is a fighter, you would think that she would want to embrace the fact that she is one and able to do her own stunts. And not only that, it saves money. You don't have to pay for stunt doubles, you don't have to pay for a lot of other stunt doubles to fill in. I mean, it does make a lot more sense as to why Gina Carano would do her own stunts, in which she eventually did, for the most part. She did a lot of her own things in the Mandalorian series, which I'm very proud of. But moving beyond all of this, alright, Gina went on to say that I won't lie, that there was a moment where it came very close to the point that I was going to lose my ability to perform my own stunts, and that Kennedy got so close to bringing on a stunt double for me for the majority of The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2. One thing that always bothered me was that they thought that myself and Favreau had some form of secret arrangement, like I was cast or something as Cara, only because I perhaps was a friend of his, that I essentially skipped the line through the casting couch and was already pre-chosen, when in reality that's all false and not the case. Favreau never exclusively gave me the role in The Mandalorian. At the time, they were looking for a strong character, and once I was cast, Cara was based off of my design. So, here's the thing about Gina Carano. She said this time and time again that she always felt like that she was being headhunted at Lucasfilm by multiple employees, trying to get her fired for every little petty reason, right? Now, Gina has said that several times, and she's made it very clear to the fans that there's a lot of those over at Lucasfilm that are like that to other actors and/or actresses on board of specific Star Wars projects that we're unaware of. And we obviously know that Lucasfilm, at the end of the day, needs to be reworked. It does. There's still a lot of unprofessional people working there, and there's still a lot of people out there that go out of their way on social media to say absolute nonsense. I think that when Freddie Prinze Jr. did that on Twitter and was like laughing and saying how funny it was that Gina got fired, it just comes off as very immature. It makes Lucasfilm seem like it's high school, or better yet, middle school, as a greater example. I just don't know what to say anymore about how Lucasfilm operates, and this performs, of course, yet another way to allow the fans to get a more vivid view of how Lucasfilm operates. Gina Carano is giving us all of that. The fact that Kathleen Kennedy really went out of her way to strip, Gina Carano's soul, essentially, as a fighter from the Mandalorian series, not allowing her to do her own stunts. She wanted to do that. Thankfully, that did not end up being the case. Gina was able to fight for that, along with Favreau, allowing herself to do her own stunts for the most part in Mando Season 1 and 2. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.